learning amidst and beyond pandemic, preferred learning modality of the RRCS students during and after the pandemic.
Kasi may tanong.
Introduction. The pandemic brought chaos not only to the economy, also to the flow of education. Some says that a student can learn at using a book without a face-to-face intervention. But a large number of textbooks did not cover all the strategies in a comprehensive manner, including up-to-date studies of their efficacy, generalizability, and potential drawbacks, despite the promise of some soundtrack 2013.
Students of distance education also resort to ineffective study skills which not only lead to poor performance in examination, but also they are unable to gain comprehension of topics, issues, and ideas, which results in a high percentage of students drop out. In addition to low exam performance, students often read their text as if they are novels in preparations for exams, implying that they are unaware or oblivious to the abilities required to study. Miracle Samson, 2004.
This study aims to identify and analyze how does the factor that is needed to develop study habits affects the academic performance of the students and their preferred mode of learning. It is also aims to analyze the effects of studying from a distance learning modality to the students' study habits and academic performance.
All studies have been made for the researchers to have an idea regarding the preferred mode of learning from the content of related literature and related studies. Many studies have been done in relation to study habits. The uniqueness of this study to the other studies is the scope of the area where researchers will conduct the study. The study will also be applied during the pandemic, and the implication being done with the involved sector in order for the education to continuously move on.
Statement of the problem. Determine the profile of the students based on age, gender, preferred flexible learning modality, learning feedback, learning environment. The factors affect online capacity, problems on ICT limitation, availability of internet access to Wi-Fi, stability of internet connection. Scope and the limitation of the study. The study will focus within the responses of the student currently enrolled in Hakurapur Central School and their preference and feedbacks on how the education must continue. During and after the pandemic, the study will determine whether the age and gender of the respondents have an effect on their preferences. It also brings up clarity whether what flexible learning modality does the students prefer, what other factors may affect their learning feedback with such modality. Thus, learning environment would have a great impact on whether the modality they prefer can deliver a better learning. The study also aims to have a clear understanding on what options the respondents are hoping to after the pandemic, whether it may be a face-to-face or more than online learning. The study also determined the problems on ICT being encountered by the students or the availability of the internet or devices they can use to conduct or attend online classes. Thus, the internet within the area of the students is stable enough for them to properly learn during the online classes, making it a good option for the duration of the pandemic or even after it. Even though the study involves all of Hakurapur Central School students, the researcher limits their sample size to a mere fraction of the population. The sample size consisted of 100 students randomly selected from each grade level.
Significance of the study. When it comes to learning, especially during the pandemic, and what comes after it will be important to the students, parents, teacher, and the school, and the government. what the students prepare and how it affects their education based from their learning feedbacks. Its importance also will give a clear path on what, who, or how the education during and after the pandemic should aim to create a better experience for the students, especially in the light of the current health crisis. As a result of these findings of the study, students will benefit more. In order to increase their academic performance and their capacity to cope with the distance learning, they will be able to apply their preferred modality in order for them to gain knowledge and learn properly. Students will also learn how the different aspects affect their academic achievement, and the findings of this study will help them understand what other students feel about the present learning modalities. Parents, on the other hand, will be given the opportunity to play a role in motivating and assisting students in the development and maintenance of good learning environment within their families.
Research methods are designed. Survey. The purpose of this survey is to collect quantitative information regarding to the phenomenon. The quantitative part refers to the timetable for obtaining data that will allow the target respondents to react to the questions in a timely manner. The data was gathered through the use of a questionnaire. This study's goal was to see how students' study habits affected them at Rapu-Rapu Central School.
Sources of data. The primary source of data for the research are the respondents of the study, which are the students who are currently at Rapu-Rapu Central School and will undergo the distance learning. The secondary sources are books, articles, journals, and other resources, which have been delivered and impact and are important in conducting this research.
Respondents. This study will focus within the responses of the students currently enrolled in Rapu-Rapu Central School and their preference and feedbacks on how the education must continue during and after the pandemic. The study will determine whether the age and gender of the respondents have an effect on their preferences. It will also bring up clarity whether what flexible learning modality does the students prefer, what other factors may affect their learning feedback with such modality. Thus, learning environment will have a great impact on whether the modality they prefer can deliver a better learning. Even though the study involves all of Rapu Central School students, the researcher limits their sample size to a mere fraction of the population. The sample size consisted of 100 students randomly selected from each grade level.
Research instruments. To gather the information needed for the study, the researcher used survey questionnaires as a research tool. In order to collect information from the respondents, a questionnaire is a set of questions or other forms of prompts. In addition, Sigmund 2003 defines a survey as a method or procedure for acquiring primary data through direct contact with a representative sample of the people. It categorizes pupils based on whether they are good or bad study habits and how this affects or has a significant impact on their academic performance during the distance learning.
Data gathering procedure. Asking permission to conduct the study. In conducting our study, a permission letter was addressed to the principal of the productive Rapu-Rapu Central School about the researchers proposing to conduct a survey. The objectives and target participants of the said research were included in the letter.
Administering of survey questionnaires. The researchers used and distributed the survey questionnaires to the chosen respondents. They were also given an adequate allotted time to answer every question in the paper properly.
Retrieval of the survey questionnaires. The questionnaires retrieved on the day of administering.
Tabulation, analysis, and interpretation of data. The data the researchers collected during the study was being tabulated, analyzed, and interpreted, collected with the objectives and statement of the problems of this research.
Statistical treatment. After gathering data, it will be processed using the cross-tabulation analysis. We believe that it is the most efficient way for us to analyze the data gathered. In order for us to have an easily understandable result, we use this type of analysis, for it uses a table that records the number of or frequency of the respondents that have specific characteristics as being described by the cell.